Hello, dear friends. Merry Christmas. I have always been passionate about this story, and I think I am not the only one. Opinion piece. Noah's Ark is hidden. The find is documented. It was discovered on Mount Ararat. It was found by a Hong Kong expedition, the greatest discovery in history. The subject has been hushed up ever since. Let's start. News of the discovery of Noah's Ark on Turkey's Mount Ararat by Chinese archaeologists from Hong Kong broke in mid-2017, and since then it has been hushed up as usual. Turkish government banned further expeditions to Mount Ararat for alleged national security reasons, and the press either stopped talking about it or said it was a lie. Perhaps all will be revealed after the event. Something similar happens in Egypt when these comforting discoveries are made. It is always the same story of theft and concealment of ancient secrets from humankind, as at Mount Buthegi. In the end, the news becomes a rumor without proof, and those who seek the truth are called conspiracy theorists. And if you look for information on Wikipedia, you will find a confusing piece debunking and ridiculing the whole investigation. The expeditionaries who made the discovery of the Ark kept the exact location of the Ark secret to prevent vandalization of the archaeological site, and since then a veil of secrecy has been drawn around this subject to prevent the public from learning of the discovery. Something similar happened when they discovered chambers under the Sphinx of Giza, or a hole in the Great Pyramid, or when they discovered a stone-blocked entrance to secret chambers under Machu Picchu, possibly concealing a great archaeological treasure. I remember when there was blocked access to Machu Picchu years ago because of a supposed rockfall on the railway track. They were secretly investigating an access to other underground installations to take what they could, and then they blocked the entrance to the cave with dynamite. Something similar happened in the Tayos cave when a NASA expedition took several sealed boxes of objects that NASA expedition took several sealed boxes of objects that they didn't declare to the authorities, or when they looted the ruins of Pairiri on the Panteacoya Plateau. When it was looted, the ruins of Pairiri on the Panteacoya Plateau, to steal the gold with helicopters during the time of the Japanese president. The news. On 27th May 2027, the Russian agency Sputnik published the news that Chinese archaeologists claimed to have discovered Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat. A team of archaeologists from Noah's Ark Ministers International claimed to have discovered the remains of this biblical vessel. Explorers from the Hong Kong-based organization found 4,800-year-old ruins on Mount Ararat in Turkey, at an altitude of more than 4,000 meters above sea level, and believe they may belong to Noah's Ark. According to an account in the Hebrew Bible, Noah's Ark was a boat built by the patriarch to save his family from the global flood. In quotes, "We are not 100% sure it is Noah's Ark, but we are betting 99.9% that it is," said field producer Yen Wing-cheung, who helped discover the wreckage. The researchers also reported that the structure of the ruins had several compartments, including wooden beams. In addition, they found the remains of what they assumed were the ship's walls, doors, nails, and stairs. The Turkish authorities admit that the remains of Noah's Ark are located on Mount Ararat as the Bible indicates. However, they point out that the ruins of the medieval ship lie in another region called the Ararat anomaly, an object that appears in photographs of the snow-covered slopes of Mount Ararat summit. The group of Chinese and Turkish experts located an ancient wooden structure under the snow of Mount Ararat that they claim was built 2,800 years before the Christ, the time when the ark is presumed to have sailed. The structure of the boat has many compartments, and that points to the fact that these may be spaces in which the animals were placed, he added. The God of Israel would have unleashed the universal flood according to the Bible to cleanse the earth of its corruption, and asked Noah to build an ark in which a couple of each of the living species would travel. The Old Testament recounts that when the waters of the great flood were receded, the ark came to rest on the top of a mountain, which researchers believe was Mount Ararat. Being said, he has contacted the Turkish government to ask it to protect the area so that excavations can begin, and added that UNESCO will be asked to include the region on its list of World Heritage Sites. The group argues that the discovery of wood in Ararat supports its theory that it is the ark, because trees do not grow at an altitude on the mountain. At that altitude, and because no traces of humankind have ever been found in the region at altitudes of more than 4,000 meters. Modern explorers have been searching for the remains of the Ark of Mount Ararat for almost 200 years. The first to attempt to find the remains was the German naturalist Friedrich Parrot in 1829. However, this is not the first time that groups of Ark hunters have claimed to have located a vessel. For example, a piece of petrified wood obtained during the expedition to Mount Ararat is on display in Hong Kong. The finding. According to the scientists, it is an ancient structure, estimated to be about 4,400 years old. Also, according to them, what they found inside it matches what was expected of Noah's Ark. It is worth noting that in 1959, a Turkish pilot took aerial photographs of a ship in that amount for the Geodetic Institute of Turkey. Dr. Brandenburger of Ohio State University, after studying the images, said, "There is no doubt in my mind that this object is a ship. In my entire career, I have never seen an object like this in an aerial photograph." The photogrammetry specialist had previously found the missile bases in Cuba under the Kennedy administration. The object was more than 200 miles from the nearest sea and 6,300 feet above the sea level. Its location was too high for it to be the wreckage of a ship. As far as location is concerned, it is argued that it was a local or rather universal flood. However, the dimensions of the ship match those described in the Bible's Genesis 6:15 of Noah's Ark. It is true that the width is greater than what is written in the book. This is explained by the fact that the sides of the ship had collapsed, which is understandable considering its age. As early as 1977, Ron Wyatt went to the area with metal detectors, chemical analysis methods, and ground-penetrating radar. Thanks to these tools, it was possible to show that the ship had 3 decks. The 2 upper decks had collapsed, and the lower deck was still in perfect condition with 144 rooms. It was also possible to recognize walls, a door near the front, cavities, large cisterns near the bow and ramps. This survey also revealed 4 protrusions reaching as far as the stern, which are believed to be stabilizers. Petrified animal dung was also found. In addition, metal rivets and iron nodules were found at 5,400 sites. The names of the surrounding sites are linked to the biblical description of the flood. The Valley of the Eight, after the 8 survivors of the flood. It is to say, Noah, his wives, and 3 sons. There is a village called the Village of Eight, where giant stone anchors can be found. On these stone anchors there are Christian crosses, and they are carved with crusades of the time. 13 stone anchors were found. They lie in a straight line with the ship. Definition: Noah's Ark is an episode in the Bible which sometimes narrates the construction of the boat made by Noah at the request of the God of Israel for the salvation of all those who believed in the warnings of the Great Flood. However, the story mentions that only Noah, his family, and different species of animals were saved. Preserved from the universal flood, they would later repopulate the earth with their descendants. The dimensions of the ark were 150 meters long, 25 meters wide, and 15 meters high. Thiusudra is the Noah of Sumerian mythology, the protagonist of the myth of the global flood, found in its earliest version on a tablet found at Nippur. The myth tells how humankind had exhausted the gods with their behavior and noise, so the gods decided to destroy them by sending a great flood. Enki had been the creator of humankind according to the Nippur text. He takes pity and comments that he doesn't wish the destruction of humans. The search of Noah's Ark has been a widespread phenomenon since antiquity, as ancient scholars attempted to affirm the historicity of the Genesis flood narrative by citing relic accounts recovered from the very vessel that would have saved Noah and his family from the global flood. With the rise of biblical archaeology in the 19th century, the potential for a formal search for the Ark attracted many interested parties from the 1940s onwards. The days of Noah. According to an exhibit at Hong Kong's Noah's Ark theme park, the search team had been exploring Ararat as the International Noah's Ark Ministry organization since 2003. They had no evidence for the claim beyond blurred images, as according to their testimonies, a mysterious force interrupted the video footage. In 2005, a documentary entitled The Days of Noah was released based on the expedition. Turkish mountaineer Ahmet Ertuğrul sent a sample of petrified wood which he claimed to have obtained in August 2006 from a second wooden structure located 4,000 meters up Ararat. The International Noah's Ark Ministry claimed that another expedition was sent in February 2007, which found that the 2004 site had collapsed due to an earthquake and was prevented from examining the 2006 site due to weather conditions. An October 2007 press conference announced that a follow-up mission in August successfully recovered more petrified wood from the site reported by Ertuğrul. Discovery. Man Fai-Yuen, representative of the International Noah's Ark Ministry, said at a press conference, "I personally entered a wooden structure on top of the mountain. The structure is divided into different spaces. We believe that the wooden structure we entered is the same one recorded in the historical accounts and the same ancient boat indicated by the locals. The members entered the structure and proceeded to conduct field surveys, take measurements and collect samples, with the entire process filmed. This was the first team in history to document the interior of the wooden structure on the mountain. Ahmed Ertugrul was the first to obtain information about the location and then initiated the search, he explained. I found out about the secret location in June 2008. The source told me that it is Noah's Ark. A team was sent there to search and a wooden structure was found. I took some photographs of the interior structure and reported the discovery to the International Noah's Ark Ministry. The search went on for almost 2 years. One of the team members, Panda Lee, made a pioneering claim to witness the existence of a wooden structure above an altitude of 4,000 meters. He also surveyed the landscape preparing for a further research. Panda Lee said, "In October 2008, I climbed the mountain with the Turks. At an altitude of over 4,000 meters, I saw a structure built of wooden planks. Each plank was about 8 inches wide. I could see dowels, evidence of ancient construction before the use of metal nails. We walked about 100 yards to another site. I could see fragments of broken timber embedded in a glacier, about 20 meters long. I examined the landscape and discovered that the wooden structure was permanently covered by ice and volcanic rocks. Prior to my expedition, the Turks on the team had excavated the site to expose the structure. Although the search was interrupted by merciless weather and a tense situation, the work was carried out relentlessly for a whole year. Finally, in October 2009, a film crew accompanied the search team to document the expedition. 6 members of the Hong Kong team entered the wooden structure, with Fiona Leung as the only female member. She says, "The expedition was difficult. We stayed for a few days at base camp at 2,800 meters to acclimatize. We all suffered from various symptoms of altitude sickness. The weather on Mount Ararat was unpredictable. Good sunny weather would be overwhelmed by dense fog in an instant. The difference in day and night temperatures was as great as 30 degrees Celsius. At night, temperatures dropped below minus 20 degrees Celsius, and one night it even snowed. The last stretch of road leading to the site was very hilly. We negotiated steep 60-degree terrain and could see basalt boulders rolling towards us. The sunlight caused the melting snow to loosen and roll down. Some of the basalt boulders were as big as a head and could have seriously injured anyone." 7 spaces. The wooden structure discovered by the team is broken, so members enter the structure through several openings. So far, the team has discovered 7 spaces. One of the discovered spaces is frozen by ice. Underneath the ice is wood with a wooden beam on top. There is a herringbone construction in the wall, and it is an obvious artificial structure. The first space discovered by Panda Lee is L-shaped, and its characteristics combine well with some spaces discovered later, such as the herringbone construction. We came to the conclusion that it was originally a box-shaped room and that it was very decomposed. This space rises to a height of more than 5 meters. The team members had to go through a broken opening and upside down to enter. All the walls are made of wood and the space is not box-shaped. The walls are not vertical, but rather curved and sloping. The small door on one side, measuring 1 meter high and half a meter wide, presumably leads to another space, but the team didn't risk going further because of the lack of oxygen. That room is box-shaped, having dimensions of over 2 meters in height, width and length. There is a wooden beam with wooden nails in one side of the wall. It is believed that the rope was attached to these nails to keep the animals in place. On another side of the wall there are racks. A very small tunnel-shaped space connects two spaces. Some wooden stairs were found inside the structures. The team climbed up and found a door in the roof and concluded that the wooden structure has more than one floor. They tried to open it but failed. As they didn't want to destroy the structure, they will try again with the appropriate equipment in the future. The team didn't enter this space. They saw and took pictures from a small opening above. The height and width are estimated at 5 meters and 12 meters respectively. The attending experts and government officials matched that the discovery is of great significance. In light of historical records, they believe the most likely explanation is that it is Noah's Ark, and that further scientific studies should be carried out. Opinions. Gerrit Alten, a Dutch Ark researcher, said, "The significance of this find is that for the first time in history, the discovery of Noah's Ark is well documented and revealed to the world community. With more than 30 years of experience in gathering information, Alten believes that the detailed eyewitness accounts completed the Ark puzzle because they all mention the same significant details that exactly match this amazing mountain find." He went on to say that it has a reddish-brown wooden appearance. The end of the ark is rotten and broken, and has a hole through which it can be entered. It is mostly embedded in ice and rock debris, and the ark is very solid and of high quality, long and rectangular. In conclusion, Alten said, "There is a great deal of solid evidence that the structure found at Mount Ararat in eastern Turkey is the legendary Noah's Ark." Archaeologist Oktay Belli said, "The team has made the biggest discovery in history. This find is very important and the biggest so far. On Mount Ararat, humankind's settlements have never reached an altitude of 3,500 meters. Mount Ararat is a sacred place and has abundant historical accounts of Noah's Ark on the mountain. Many people have searched the mountain for the sacred ark." Dr. Ahmet Özbek, a Turkish geologist, explained how the condition has helped preserve the structure for thousands of years without deteriorating too much or petrifying. He said that the permanent snow line on Mount Ararat is 3,900 meters. The wooden structure was found at more than 4,000 meters. The low temperature and environmental conditions of the glacier deposits and volcanic material helped its preservation. He also explained that the weight proportion of wooden material was capable of carrying loads up to 5 times its weight. Therefore, this structure can support a great weight without breaking into pieces. Pure antediluvian engineering. Mushin Bulut, director of Cultural Ministries of Agri Province, said, "For more than 2,000 years, historical and eyewitness accounts tell us that there is an ancient ship on Mount Ararat that survived a great flood and landed on the mountain. People believed it was Noah's Ark. I believe the team has located this ancient ship, and I believe it is Noah's Ark." And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.